Mr. Avalar, good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for August 23rd, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, would you call our next case?
Middle of page 14, Judge. It cause number 2018-0D02591, State of Texas versus Adan Angel Melendez. Announcement of council, please.
Robert King for the state of Texas.
And Daniel Avalar for Adan Melendez. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. Give me 1 second. Do we have Mr. Melendez annex?
Yes, Your Honor, he's coming out.
Okay, thank you. That'll give me a second. I'll look up. Case summary. Mr. Melendez, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are scheduled for a pre-revocation hearing.
That's right, Judge.
It looks like Carla, probation is recommending, Carla, are you on this one? I don't know. You are? That aside, we'll look at the non-compliance in a second, but
Judge, basically, we can no longer extend this case.
yes.
The state would have to move on the revo or dismiss.
So he absconded, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
No new cases?
No,
No. Okay, so what were we looking at? What do we have here?
it appears we have
6 months, 180 days? Yes?
And Your
Yes.
Honor, I did send the tips and waivers yesterday for 6 months.
Okay. Mr. Avalar, as soon as you get him back to us, we'll schedule him for a plea of true.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do we have future settings on him? Let me just see.
We do not, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna put him out for 2 weeks. I think I'll be out. So it's gonna be 3 weeks. It's gonna be the 13th, Mr. Avalar, but I'll tell you this, if you can get us the paperwork quickly, I'll send him next week. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
ándale pues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, who's next?
Judge, on page 15, I have the interpreter here for Mr. Reyes, Ricardo.
Okay,
Annex, may we have Reyes, Ricardo?
Sure.
hi, Ms. Noyola.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon. Oh my.
Judge, on this one, we had submitted plea papers, but we were waiting for a plea date.
Right, I saw some emails back and forth and I had signed them way back when, and then I feel like maybe because time had passed, maybe they got lost, but they've been there. So I had down for the 1391 case, 6 months, and then 2427 to TDC on count 2 only, correct?
Correct, Judge. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get set up, Ms. Noyola. I don't know if, well, I don't know, what, do you need to explain anything? The annex just automatically, we can just start, right? Okay, so let's get the interpreter function going, please. And if council would please select English.
Judge, and we're set for a final hearing. Is it going to be a plea then right now or?
I'm ready to do it if you are.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, Judge. That's great.
Okay, I'll confirm with your client.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if somebody can tell. Let me go. Annex, if you, I don't know, can they hear me? Can they hear
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Marufo?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
Annex.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you select the The interpreter,
Yes.
thank you.
Sí.
Okay, beautiful. I'll go ahead and call it, Mr. Marufo. Calling cause numbers 2017-0D01391 and 2021-0D02427. Both cases styled the state of Texas versus Ricardo Esteban Reyes. May I have announcements?
Roma King for the state of Texas.
And Myrna Pages for Mr. Ricardo Reyes. Ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Reyes is appearing remotely from the jail annex. He is also utilizing the assistance of a court interpreter, Ms. Gloria Noyola. Mr. Reyes, both these cases were not set for pleas. The probation case was set for a probation status hearing, and the new case was set for a final hearing plea deadline in the event we were going to trial. However, I did receive paperwork on each of these cases indicating to me that you wanted to enter pleas for both of these cases. Is that your understanding?
Sí.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and get started with the pleas on both of these cases. I'm actually going to start first with the newer case, cause number ending 2427. Sir, I'm going to be asking you questions actually about both cases. So I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Sí.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down, and if you would, please state your name and date of birth for the record.
Ricardo Esteban Reyes, 83
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. As I mentioned, I'm going to ask you some questions about documents you should have reviewed with your attorney. In the new case, the first one marked as State's Exhibit number 1 are the plea papers. Within that document, you are guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Reyes, do you recall reviewing that document with your attorney and signing that document?
Sí.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Sí.
Ms. Pages, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
Yes, Judge.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
That is correct, Judge.
Mr. Reyes, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Sí.
And Ms. Pages, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his pleas?
I don't have any reason, Judge.
Mr. Reyes, have you ever been found incompetent, mentally incompetent by any court?
No.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who's found you mentally ill?
No.
Okay, so based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea today. So are you a U.S. citizen?
Sí.
Okay, where were you born?
En El Paso, Texas.
So in this case, cause number ending 2427, I understand there are 3 counts, but your plea is only as to count 2. That charge is possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 4 and 200 grams. That is a second-degree felony, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a second-degree felony. To that charge, sir, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Culpable.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Sí.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Ms. King, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element of the offense charge, possession of controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 4 grams and 200 grams beyond a reasonable doubt. Your Honor, the defendant is pleading to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Correctional Institution Division. The state will dismiss count 1 and count 3. and will also dismiss cause number 2022-0C01995 and to run concurrent on cause number 2017-0D01391. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 is the indictment.
No objection, Your Honor.
Without objection, states 1, 2, and 3 are admitted. And Ms. Pages, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Judge.
And Mr. Reyes, is that your understanding of the agreement as well?
Sí.
Understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Reyes, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Sí.
It was signed by the court and signed by your attorney as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. I will find you guilty of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount between 4 and 200 grams. And I will sentence you according to the plea agreement to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. You will receive credit for any and all time that you served, and it will run concurrent with the upcoming plea of true. Is there anything on the new plea, Ms. Pages or Ms. King?
No, Judge.
Okay. Now, Mr. Reyes, we're moving to the probation case. That is the case ending 1391. Sir, are you the same individual who on July 20th, 2021 entered a plea of guilty and was sentenced to 2 years deferred adjudication? I'm sorry, not sentenced. You were given a period of 2 years of community supervision per deferred provisions. And that was to the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. Are you that same person?
Sí.
Okay, and with regard to this plea of true today, there were some documents you should have reviewed with your attorney, marked states exhibits 1, 2, and 3. Those are the stipulations and waiver in this case. You recall reviewing those with your attorney and signing them.
Sí.
Did you understand everything contained within those documents?
Sí.
And Ms. Pages, did you explain states 1, 2, and 3 to your client,
I did, Judge.
including the possible consequences of signing those documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Reyes, are you waiving the rights explained in those documents?
No entiendo la pregunta. ¿Cómo?
So in states exhibits 1, 2, and 3, the waiver, it
Okay.
had some
Sí.
things that you were agreeing and saying that you did and that you were previously explained on probation. Do you recall those documents?
Sí.
And by signing, you are indicating to me that you are waiving the rights that were contained therein. Is that what you're telling me today?
Sí.
Do you understand you are making a judicial confession?
Sí.
You understand that on a plea of true and all reasonable probability, I will find the allegations in the state's motion to be true, and in all reasonable probability, I will find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. Do you understand that?
Sí.
And with respect to the motion to adjudicate, do you wish to enter a plea of true or not true?
Es verdad.
Are you making your plea of true freely and voluntarily?
Sí.
I understand that the recommendation in this case is 6 months confinement in a state jail facility. Mr. Reyes, is that your understanding of the offer here?
Sí.
Ms. Pages, is that your understanding as well?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And so I will accept the plea agreement of 6 months confinement in the state jail facility. Admit states exhibits 1, 2, and 3 in this case. The court will also take judicial notice of all documents in the district clerk's file. Mr. Reyes, based on the evidence presented here today and on your plea of true, I find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations in the state's motion to adjudicate and find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram. The judgment is hereby amended from 2 years deferred adjudication to 6 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Facility. Again, it will run concurrent with cause number 2021-0D02427. With respect to the dismissal on the misdemeanor case ending 1995, that dismissal will go to the appropriate court, misdemeanor court, for the judge to sign there. Other than that, anything further, Ms. Pages or Ms. King?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Reyes. Anyone else need the interpreter before we let Ms. Noyola leave? No? Okay, Ms. Noyola, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Who's next?
Up on page 15, Judge. And next, may we have Ontiveros Raúl.
Ontiveros. Yes, sir. You're coming.
Thank you, sir.
I feel like we received that plea paperwork already.
Were you talking to me, Your Honor?
No, I was kind of talking to myself, Mr. Islas. Thank you. Let's see. Signed MTR paperwork. Give me 1 second. Isn't he a Spanish speaker or no? Mr. Ontiveros? No, he's not. Okay, give me 1 second. 820. Anyone's. Okay, so it was 1 count of possession of a controlled substance and 1 count of DWI third? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Amelco.
In cause number 2019-0D02176, State of Texas versus Raúl Ontiveros. Announcement of counsel, please.
Roa King for the state of Texas.
And Kristen Romero for the defense.
And Mr. Ontiveros is appearing remotely from the jail annex. We were originally scheduled for a pre-revocation hearing, but the court did receive Mr. Ontiveros documents indicating that you were going to plead true to both counts of this underlying case. So I'm going to be asking you questions. I need to swear you in. If you would raise your right hand, please. Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Would you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
The name's Raúl Ontiveros. 7/12/1960.
Mr. Ontiveros, I'm going to be asking you about documents. I'm going to, there are 2 sets of documents, even though they're just 1 case. So I know you might have gone over quite a few. They basically say the same thing for each case. Within these documents, you're guaranteed certain rights. But first, I need to ask you some questions, sir. Are you the same individual who on August 20th, 2019, entered pleas of guilty and was found guilty of, in count 1, possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 in an amount less than 1 gram? Are you that same individual?
Yes, ma'am.
And as to count 2, you were found guilty of driving while intoxicated 3rd or more offense, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And I guess for each, let's see, on the driving while intoxicated, you were placed on 5 years probation. Let me just double check the paper. Same for the possession case. Sir, do you waive formal reading of the motion to revoke in your case?
Yes.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Romero, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his pleas of truth?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ontiveros, have you ever been found incompetent, mentally incompetent by any court?
Never, ma'am.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So for purposes of today's plea of truth, I will find that you are competent to proceed. Sir, with respect to these cases, States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 are the waivers and stipulation for each count. Did you review those with your attorney before you signed them?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
And you understood everything contained within the documents?
Yes.
Are you freely and voluntarily waiving the rights explained in the documents that you have signed?
Yes.
And do you understand you are making a judicial confession?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that on your plea of true in all reasonable probability, I will find the allegations in the motion to be true, and in all reasonable probability, your community supervision will be revoked? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
With regard to the motion to revoke, do you wish to enter a plea of true or not true?
True.
Other than the plea agreement reached between you and the state, are you pleading true because the allegations are true and for no other reason?
Very true.
Ms. King, what is the agreement in this case?
Your Honor, it's going to be 2 years of TDC on the DWI and 6 months state jail on the possession.
Ms. Romero, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Ontiveros, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will go ahead and accept the plea agreement, admit States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3. I guess both sets of States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3. The court will take judicial notice of all documents in the district clerk's file in this case. Sir, based on the evidence presented here today and on your pleas of true, I find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations in the state's motion. So your community supervision will be revoked, and the court makes a finding that the allegations are true. The judgment in this case is hereby amended as to count 1 from 5 years of community supervision to 6 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Facility. As to count 2, it will be amended to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. Those sentences will run concurrent with one another. Is there anything further, Ms. Romero or Ms. King?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, just to make sure so my client can hear it, he'll be getting credit for the time he served in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, okay, then nothing further.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Mr. Ontiveros.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. Who's next?
Judge, on page 16 at the bottom, annex, may we have Sliger Andrea?
Didn't we send her to BHRTC or has she not gone yet?
She hasn't gone yet, Your Honor, and I had asked your court coordinator, how come I had to join this, because we're just waiting for the paperwork.
So I kind of agree. Was there a hiccup, Carla? I mean, no offense, Ms. Sliger, I don't mind seeing you again, but you're basically just waiting to be going to treatment. Did something happen, Carla?
Hi, Your Honor. I did submit paperwork. It's been, she's been modified. She is pending a bed available.
Okay.
My apologies to Mr. Islas. I didn't get his email. I was out last week and I was just trying to send him a chat right now.
Oh, that's okay, Ms. Pineda. You're always so gracious and helpful whenever I call on.
Thank you.
Very sorry, Mr. Islas, but yeah, I think
It's
I
true.
wondered why she was on here. I'm sorry?
No, it's true about Ms. Pineda. She is
She's the
very
best.
helpful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't believe unless there's anything you want on the record, I think we're good to go. Thank you, Ms. Sliger.
Thank you.
May I be excused?
Thank you. Who's next?
On middle of page 5, Judge, annex, may we have Crystal Reyes?
Yes, sir.
Did I just get plea papers on this one?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so we need to
Yes.
take a quick break. Ms. Reyes, if you'll just hang tight, please.